I'd like to introduce myself to staff, students, parents, guardians, carers, governors and other stakeholders as the new principal of King Edward's College. Some of you have met me already, some of you this is perhaps the first time. So my name is Stuart. I joined on the start of September and have come here from a previous post as principal in London and 20 years in the Hampshire colleges, doing a variety of roles, moving up from a teacher through to being a senior manager. It's incredibly exciting to join a college like King Edward's, a college that not only has a rich heritage and history and a real place in the local town and community, but somewhere that's incredibly forward-facing and future-facing and really embracing new ways of trying to deliver an outstanding education for all. It's of course an interesting time to come join a new institution in a different part of the country. As we all know, COVID has been an impacting force for 2020. We're now entering, as of today, a period of lockdown, our second lockdown of the year, scheduled to last 1 month. And I would today like to talk to you specifically about what we at King Edward's are doing in relation to the COVID pandemic, to lockdown and the rest of the academic year. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with myself or any of our staff if you've got any questions, queries, worries, or you want to celebrate great things that have gone on. We'd love to hear from you. So at the moment we are maintaining the red blue bubble blended timetable. I appreciate many of you have reached out to say that you'd like to see a little bit more face-to-face time developing in the future, and that's something that we've got planned as part of our phase 2 timetable that we'll be looking to roll out after the lockdown period. The current timetable system has enabled us to ensure probably the highest standards of health and safety on the King Edward site in the country. As yet, we've had no confirmed cases that originated from the college, and we've managed to maintain the 1 metre plus social distancing in every room and every part of the King Edward site and buildings. That in itself is incredibly challenging, and the site is part of the challenge that we face in increasing face-to-face time. Many of our teaching rooms are of a size that would fail to accommodate full group sizes with reasonable social distancing in place. So we recognise that when it's time to move into the phase 2 structure, as we all want to do, and increase the amount of students on site and the number of hours they are face-to-face in college, that's going to come with some increased risks. So it's really important that we all play our part in ensuring the health and safety of the site. And I'd really like to speak to you now about some of the specifics that we were asking all staff and students to do during the lockdown period, but also to become best practice in the months ahead. So I'd ask you, when you come on site, to follow the following guidelines so that we can ensure the highest standards of health and safety for everyone. And it's really important to stress here, it's not just about safety on site, it's about ensuring that we minimise the risks of any sort of COVID outbreak on site or infection, so that we can ensure not just the safety of staff and students, but of their families, their extended networks of friends and people they come into close contact with. It genuinely is a big ask, but I hope that you can help us achieve the really high standards. So when you arrive at the college, the entrance is now located at reception. When you come in, you'll see that there are standalone electronic hand sanitizer gel dispensers. We ask that anyone coming on site, before they go through the electric gates, now sanitise their hands. You'll find sanitiser stations throughout the college site, and we ask that you use them regularly. If you're not able to sanitise your hands, wash them with soap and water, or vice versa. We also, in every classroom or every office space, have wipes and gels available to ensure that touch surfaces can be regularly cleaned and regularly sanitised. We've also increased the number of cleaners we've got on site, ensuring that touch points are regularly cleaned, and have invested in what are called defogging machines and equipment to ensure that we can regularly and routinely sanitise every room and space in the college, some for up to a number of days, using such equipment. Once you come into the college, you need to wear a mask. As of today, the government regulations and guidance have been updated to ask that in a school or college setting, any communal areas see 100% face mask use. So we're asking that as you move around the site, be it indoors or outdoors, that you wear a face mask. We're asking that if you're using an area that's communal in nature, such as the canteen, the common room, the covered walkways or the quads, we ask that you use a face mask as well there. The only area that we're not requiring face masks to be worn in are classrooms and offices that can implement the 1 metre plus social distancing effectively. We're doing this to help improve safety and to ensure that we're not only complying with the government direction, but actually we're trying to ensure everyone on site are as safe as possible. You'll notice around site that there's an increasing use of one-way systems, and again we'd ask you to use the arrows or read the notices and follow the directions. The entrance at reception, we have 2 exit points, one close to the canteen and one close to the biology classrooms. We ask that again you use these as the exit points because that enables us to control the flow of people around the site and ensure that there are never too many people in one area at the same time. The government guidance has also asked that any students or staff using public transport to come to and from college seek to use face masks and sanitise whilst using those facilities. Obviously it's really important that we make sure we're trying to do our best to reduce the threat of this terrible virus and ensure that we're minimising the risk not only to ourselves but to anyone else. So I'd also ask that we really think about grouping, and by that I mean when we are grouped together, 2 or more people, and are we actually maintaining social distancing? It's very easy to forget to stand there, have a chat with someone and then find that you're actually within an arm's reach. And if you need a quick rule of thumb to think, have I got that 1 metre plus distance in play, then just stretch out your arm and see if you can touch someone, because that will tell you if you're too close. Lastly, whilst on site, we have recommended, but not made it a mandatory requirement, that you download the NHS COVID Track and Trace app and sign in when you come to college and to any other public space that you use. It's worth saying with the app that if it sends you an alert, you need to then follow the directions it gives you. And it could be that it's going to tell you you need to self-isolate for 2 weeks. If that's the case, or if a member of your family, bubble, close community, or someone you know you've come into contact with develops COVID symptoms, you should seek to isolate and err on the side of caution wherever possible. If you need to isolate, please contact the college and notify us of the date that you've been notified to isolate from and are able to return. We will then ensure that the records are up to date, that staff are told, and that students are still educated virtually from home, however possible. It's really important to stress to you that if you're displaying any sort of COVID-like symptoms, a continuous cough, a loss of taste or smell, or cold or flu-like symptoms, it's incredibly important to seek to get a test. You should be able to access a test locally, you should be able to access your local GP or hospital facilities. It's better to be cautious at this time. The R rate has gone above 1, which means that infections are rising. We know that from recent research that the 16 to 24 age group are an age group that perhaps don't suffer too badly with COVID on average, but can be asymptomatic carriers quite often. So it's really important that again we try and minimise any risks and really minimise the spread of this virus. I know it's a big ask. I know it can be challenging, I know it can feel restrictive, but hopefully in the next month we can all come together to beat this virus and get the R rate down and ensure that come Christmas life can go back to some sort of normality. So I really do thank you for your help, your efforts, your positivity and your input into helping not just our country but our college and our community. The guidance from government is still stating that exams will take place next summer. The sector though is preparing for other eventualities, and so we will be undertaking assessments in year that it will be clear to you when you do them that they would be used in the event of CAGs, centre assessed grades, being asked for again next year. I think everyone is hopeful that the exam series will take place next summer and are working towards that end. But we want to make sure that if something should happen and exams cannot take place, then we have good, accurate, fair assessment data to base those grade awards on. We will, of course, be maintaining our blended model in the coming weeks and months, but our aim is to increase the face-to-face time on college as the year progresses and to try and return people to as much normality as is possible at any given point. I will personally in the coming weeks be engaging with all stakeholders in the college with our Phase 2 plans and getting your views and ideas on the intentions we have. I'd really like your input. It is really important right now though that we recognise that we need to make the best of the situation we've got and to work really hard and to support one another to do the best we can in the next month in the lockdown period nationally. Virtual lessons will continue, face-to-face lessons will continue on site, and I hope that together we can be stronger and together we can be more successful. It's lovely to be able to introduce myself to you, obviously in the strangest of times, and please don't hesitate to get in touch, to reach out or say hello. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you again soon and hopefully this will become a regular video blog that you can access via the website. Best regards.